Watch the ride.
Hello, so I've used them for a while, so it's time to do a review of the Knox Handroids. As you can see, very nice glove. I'm very impressed with them, but I'll go through the individual things. But the sort of features that make this a bit of a unique glove are these tendril parts over the fingers, which give you sort of moving protection. The boa system, which is Velcro-less. And it's also got scaphoid, I think it's a scaphoid protection. Basically, the bones in your wrists, these plates help where you can hit and grip and like twist, and that's what breaks your hand. These hit and slide, and apparently that stops you breaking your hand so easily. And you just click that down and spin. As you can see, the tendril parts move like so. So I've had them and I've been using them for, I don't know, is it nearly a couple of months, 6 weeks, something like that, quite a while. And there is a few things that I can say about them. Let's start with build. That's a very important thing with a pair of gloves. The leather in these is a much higher quality than what I used to get in my Alpinestars SP-1s. Now, I'm assuming you know my past history if you're watching this. I used to use Alpinestars SP-1 gloves religiously. I loved them. I had a couple of pairs in a row. And yeah, they were good to start with, but the quality started getting lower and lower, and they didn't last more than a year or so. Wasn't very impressed, especially as the fact that those gloves, they're around £115 to buy, and they barely lasted, a season and a half, I think, somewhere around there, less than 2 years for sure. And they faded really badly. I'll have a video talking about it. I'll link it at the end. Anyway, the leather in these gloves is of a much higher quality. You can tell this because it's a lot stronger, it's a lot higher grade, thicker, and it does make these gloves quite heavy. They are hefty gloves, but they feel like they've got really good protection with the leather. The finger system, which is a bit weird and it's the first thing you notice. I don't even notice it so much anymore now. Look at my hands. It doesn't inhibit your movement at all. Yet it's nice to know you've got that protection there. The boa system, the Velcro system, why I got these gloves basically, is amazing. Some people said it was a faff. I don't know what you're talking about. I think Velcro's more of a faff because you get it right and then you have to keep adjusting it, and then eventually it gives up its stickiness, and that's kind of what happened with the Alpinestars. Well, this system is just quick and it works. I've just got nothing bad to say about it. And I thought it came with a 2-year guarantee, and I've been led to believe it actually has a lifetime guarantee, that if the strings snap, you can just send them back to Knox and they'll sort it out for you. And if that's true, then that is amazing. That's very, very good. I've even heard stories of one of the bosses of Knox, or someone called up in Knox, travelling a little way across the country to fix a guy's pair of gloves for him that he saw in a shop or something. Real ridiculously good customer service like that is important. So Knox is a brand that I never used before. I didn't know too much about. From my experience with these gloves and what I've heard from a few people, and from the users of these gloves who also use these gloves, these are very good gloves. Price, now that is something you have to take into consideration here, because remember I said Alpinestars SP-1, they were 115. These are 200 quid. They are worth every penny of that 200 quid. There is a lot more glove here than what Alpinestars is offering for, the £115 mark. Oh yeah, I should have said this earlier on. When bedding them in, when you get gloves, they need to be a little bit tight to start with, and then they stretch out to your hand size, and it makes them so comfortable. Well, I take an XL in Alpinestars, but apparently that comes up quite small compared to other manufacturers. So these are actually just a large. Now, they were a little bit tight to start with, and I was a bit worried that they weren't going to give, because I wore them and they just weren't giving. It was really tight on my fingers. But once they got rained on a couple of times, that always helps, stretches them out a little bit. They've formed perfectly to my hands. I think that the leather is just such a higher quality through its toughness, its thickness, its strength, that it just takes a lot longer for these gloves to bed in. So if you do get a pair and you're like, oh, they just never seem to be comfy, it takes quite a while, and it can be incredibly uncomfortable to start with. But once they stretch and they get to your size, it's just your hand. It's like a skin on your hand that you don't notice so much. It's amazing. When I first got these gloves as well, these pads, the protection pads, because they're quite big and proud off of the glove, and they're hard plastic, I found that they kind of got in the way of my throttle hand to start with, and it felt very weird. As someone said to me in the comments from that old video, they said, I suspect you'll probably get used to that. I had the same thing. I completely have. I don't even notice they're there anymore. I don't think I've changed my hand position at all. I think it's just I'm now used to the palm of my hand being slightly off of the grip. Looks, I think they look very nice. I think they're very cool. I know the tendon things can seem a bit extreme looking, because that is definitely what I thought when I first saw them. But they make sense and they have a purpose. You know, it's not just a style thing. If they were there for just a style thing, they'd be like, you know. But they clearly have a purpose. There is a lot of protection offered there. You might save your fingers. I've been asked if they're waterproof. I don't think so. They don't claim to be waterproof. You know, they're just leather gloves. They've got perforations in the fingers for venting and stuff. So no, I don't think they claim to be waterproof. But you know, all leather gloves are to a point. You know, as long as it's not too heavy a rain and you're going quick enough, it seems to just like whip off of them and they don't get too wet. You get a downpour and they get soaked. Of course, people say, is it a winter or a summer glove? It's definitely a thick glove. You know, it's in the summer, it's pretty thick, and I don't use these green laning mainly because I don't want to damage them, but also because they are thick and your hands get hot when you're green laning. So yeah, I think they're more towards the sort of the colder season glove. I wouldn't call them a winter glove. Thing is, I wear the same gloves summer and winter, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But yeah, I mean, I'll be using them this winter. Oh, actually, I might as well mention this. Until the 31st of October 2017, if you want to get a pair of these, you can buy them from getgeared.co.uk and use code SPICY110, and that'll give you 10% off. So they're actually 180 quid. I don't get anything from that. I've not been paid for any of this. I did receive these gloves for free, but I requested them in return for some promotion using that code. And as I say, I don't get anything back from that. So it's a good, harmonious, honest relationship that we have as to how I got these gloves. And as I say, and I'm reviewing them as if I was buying them. Yeah, I will bulk a little bit of the £200 price, but having used them, definitely worth it. Don't see them as being a gimmick. See them as a good pair of gloves. So have the Knox Handroids taken the #1 position in my favourite gloves I've ever used? Yes, by quite a way. I did love the SP-1s, the earlier ones when they were made a bit better, but these are outstanding. Super happy, and I hope they last years. Maybe I'll do a review in a year's time or something and see how they compare longevity-wise compared to the Alpinestars. There you go. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all next time. Bye bye.